Now by Nigel Farage. Nigel, good evening to you. Good evening. Good evening. Right, tell us where you are. What do you do on New Year's Eve?
I'm on the coast. I'm on the East Coast. I'm not going out to a big party because you get to a point where everyone knows you, and those that don't like you are rude. Those that do like you want to hug you and never let you go. So I'm quietly at a quiet house party, 12 people. And it's all going very, very well. And we're all reflecting on 2024, what the year meant for all of us. And do you know what? There's a mood of optimism about 2025. There's a feeling amongst my group of family and friends that 2025 marks a turning point where a really big change, a positive change is coming.
But it's interesting what you say, Nigel, about your popularity and whether people want to hug you or whether they want to take you on and have an argument with you. How has that changed for you in 2024 personally? Probably, I would say, following on maybe from being in the jungle at the end of 23.
Well, there's no question that the jungle made a huge difference because the jungle, you know, I was in there for 24 days. You can't hide. You can't pretend to be what you're not. And people saw me for what I am. Now, they can like it, not like it, but they can at least form an impression. So the jungle helped. I think, and it's political, I guess, but I think the sheer ineptitude of Keir Starmer, of now Kemi Badenoch, I mean, frankly, have you seen her New Year's message? It's embarrassing. I mean, it's so low grade, it's unbelievable. And I think, you know, whether I'm talented or not, I perhaps look rather more able than the other two to an awful lot of people. So yeah, I think perceptions of me as a person have changed over the course of this year. And the political party that I lead, Reform, you wait. Give it 2 weeks and see where we are in the opinion polls. And the establishment are going to be shocked. Massive historical change is coming to Britain. It's coming quickly, and in my opinion, it's badly needed.
Nigel, what's been your personal highlight? It's Emily here. What's been your personal highlight of the year? You know, we talked about work successes, we've talked about politics and everything. What's been the personal highlight?
Well, Emily, I'm rather older than you, and you know, I turned 60 earlier this year, which, given that I survived a plane crash, a major road traffic accident and cancer as a young man, even being 60 was a moment for celebration. Forget the votes, forget the seats in Parliament, forget the nearly 160,000 members that we're about to break in the next hour. Oh, no question. My 2 grandsons being born this year, one of the most incredible, really incredible episodes of my life, and something that means so much to me. And that comes above absolutely everything.
Nigel, good evening. It's Ben. Happy New Year to you.
Hi, Ben.
2 very quick questions. Have you heard from Kemi yet?
No apology has been forthcoming, and therefore I will be giving a response on Friday.
Oh, there we go.
What I'm going to do, she won't like it. She really, really won't like it, but she could still apologise.
OK, second question is, we heard and we saw your New Year's message earlier. Some people saying, without getting accused of being a Reform mouthpiece, as we've heard from some quarters over the past week, you did look quite prime ministerial. In recent years, maybe 2016, 2017, you admitted yourself you weren't overly keen on being Prime Minister. Has that changed now, Nigel? Would you like to be Prime Minister?
Well, Ben, I was a warrior. I was a street fighter. I was, you know, get me out there. Someone hold my jacket. I mean, that was, you know, my whole political career was based on that. I'm now in a different place. I'm now about what is wrong with our country, what we need to do to put it right. And I've said since June the 3rd, when I came back out of semi-political retirement, that it's about family, community and country. They're the things that matter to me. They're the things that matter to GB News viewers. That's what matters to most of our population. And if I can be the agent for change for all of those things, then you know what? I'll do my damnedest over the next few years to do that. So, yes, I'm in a very different place. I'm not now fighting the establishment to get us to leave the European Union. I'm trying to replace the establishment. Now, historically, people will say that I'm mad. But you know what? Something is happening out there.
Just going to ask, so you are going to turn the boats back, are you? And how do you square that with the French?
It's very easy. The UNCLOS 1982 Law of the Seas says we are fully entitled to send boats back to a safe place if they're in danger in any passage across any, water course in the world. So there's no problem with that. The French will hate it, but that's not difficult. We've given them £500 million. They've delivered almost nothing. And do you know what? We're full of arguments in life about why we can't do things. What about arguments as to why we can do things? Because only by sending people back do we stop them coming. Tony Abbott in Australia was told he couldn't do anything about the boats coming from Indonesia. But in 2012, do you know what he did? He towed them back to Indonesia. Guess what happened? The boats stopped coming. We must do the same.
And just lastly, Nigel, do you ever make New Year's resolutions? Do you do anything as try to decide you're going to change lifestyle or live healthier?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I've been thinking about it, Bear, very hard. Do I give up drinking or driving? And driving's lost. I've given up driving. That's it.
You've given up... Oh. Honestly, we talk about ULEZ so much in this studio. I presume that's what you meant. It became too hard to own a car. Death of the motorist. No, so you're carrying on drinking rather than driving.
Absolutely.
Right, Nigel, Happy New Year from all of us.
And
we
to
look
all
forward...
of you, and the GB News, and our loyal fans. And I must say, 2024 was the year that GB News really came of age. Our influence now on national debate is at a level I could not have dreamt of when I joined it back in 2021. And given that we've done it with a very, very relatively small team of people, I think we have a lot to be proud of. I really genuinely do, including all of you tonight on that panel. Love you all.
Oh, thank you, Nigel.
Happy New Year.
We look forward to working with you as well in the next 12 months.
That's wholesome, isn't it?
Isn't that wholesome?
That was quite wholesome.
Yes, it was.
You know, the one thing that I think, I didn't used to be a big Nigel Farage fan, and I don't mind saying
You hated Trump as well, didn't you?
hated Trump. I knew nothing in those days. I didn't know anything.
What happened to you, Beth?
Well, so much happened. It's quite a long story, and I won't bore you with it
She
tonight.
met Darren Grimes.
The thing is, what I find impressive about Nigel as a human being and as a politician, there is no spin. You will have all asked him questions on this, and you always get a straight answer from Nigel. He talks from the heart, and if he doesn't know, he'll say, I don't really know how I feel about that, but, I'm looking into it.
And if he can't tell you, for whatever reason, he'll say that.
Yes, he will.
He'll say that, make that clear, rather than trying to obfuscate.
He mentioned I'm a celebrity there, right?
Yeah.
And do you know how recently we've been talking a lot about reform's back end? Well, we've seen Nigel Farage's back end already. So I said, I've seen enough of it. I've seen enough of it.
Look, he's still a divisive
Seen a lot of
character.
Nigel.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who do not see Nigel in that way. They still see him as the architect of Brexit, with which they don't agree, and they see that he supports.
So is that you
Trump
saying he can't go all the way?
Do I think it?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fascinating 3 or 4 years up to the next election.
But as you said, Bev, whether people like Nigel or not, they know what he's about. I've known him since I was 20, maybe 15 years, maybe a little bit more, and he's always stood for the same principles, the same policies, the same campaigns, the same morals, the same ethics, and you can't say that about any other or most other politicians.
Just very quickly tell a little story, actually. So we were on honeymoon, we were in Thailand, right, and I forgot about the time difference, OK, and I messaged him about something, and the phone went off and he called straight away.
Why are you admitting that you were messaging Nigel Farage on our honeymoon? Seriously, this is quite embarrassing for me, don't you think?
It wasn't the highlight of the honeymoon.
He was saying, have you seen the boat ride?
It was the highlight of the
But he
honeymoon.
called, anyway, so he called. So we had a quick chat with him, and I put the phone down, and he said to me, hang on a minute, it was 5 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And he was at work. It wasn't like he'd gone all the way through.
Yeah.
He started at 5 a.m. on a Sunday. He is 24/7.
But
This game, you're not ready for it.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment. And you're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form, the power that shifts around. And it's amazing to watch.
This is primary, Julia, secondary. Simple actions can have massive effects.
You can cooperate with people, compete with them, make friendships, deceive them, betray them.
It's amazing to think that it's all just other players.
More players start coming. It just starts this complete cascade of actions, and you don't know what's going to happen.
It is a free-for-all. We'll get locked up and shot instantly. People start dying left, right, and centre. It's just something that you can't get anywhere else. It's just the rush like no other.
All good movies happen. Everybody's on this journey and writing their own stories, and that is probably the simplest way I can describe it.
Things continue to change and evolve. It's awesome. I love it. Part of Eve.
I think Labour's New Year's resolution is to turn every single hotel in Britain into a base for illegal immigrants. When you see scenes like this... Don't look at that as a boatload of people. Start looking at it in terms of hotel numbers. So every boat now has about 65 illegal immigrants on it. So if we take the Maidenhead Holiday Inn, for example, which is now a migrant hotel, apparently that has 350 rooms. So roughly 5 boats. $450 illegals came across the channel on Christmas Day. I mean, I've got the latest figures for you here, courtesy of our Home and Security Editor, Mark White. There's been a 25% increase in channel crossings since last year. We're up to